For 1,825 days, a man disappeared every single night. Not from the world, but into a hole no wider than his shoulders. While the guard slept, he scraped through solid earth, using a spoon, a nail, sometimes just his fingers. 5 years later, the tunnel emerged outside the prison walls. What happened next shocked an entire country. His name was Mateo Alvarez. Born in a quiet border town, he worked construction, cared for his mother, and lived a life most people would call ordinary. But one night he was arrested for a robbery he swore he didn't commit. There was no money for a lawyer, no one to defend him. The judge gave him 25 years. Mateo walked into San Diablo prison, a place known more for its violence than its justice. He knew 2 things. If he stayed, he would die. If he tried to run, he had one chance. Just one. San Diablo wasn't a prison. It was a world inside a world. Concrete walls, 8 meters high. Searchlights sweeping the yard. Cells packed with men who had nothing to lose. Every day was the same. Wake up, count, work, count again. At night, Mateo lay awake, staring at the cracked concrete under his bed. That crack, that tiny flaw in the wall, would shape the next 5 years of his life. On his 60th night in prison, rain poured so hard the ground trembled. Water leaked through the small crack beneath Mateo's bed. He touched the wet soil. Soft. Crumbling. Not concrete. Earth. This cell had been built over old ground, and for the first time since entering prison, Mateo felt something he hadn't felt in months. Hope. He didn't have tools. He didn't have help. He didn't have time. But he had patience, using a bent spoon he stole from the cafeteria. Mateo scraped the soil every night, just a handful. Just a few inches. Every morning, he hid the dirt inside his mattress, releasing it into the yard during exercise. Night after night, inch after inch. 1 year later, he had carved a hole barely large enough for his arm. By year 2, the tunnel was long enough for Mateo to crawl inside. He worked, lying flat, unable to breathe normally, digging upward and forward. He learned the guards' routines, which ones slept, which ones talked too much, which ones never checked the cells. Year 3 Mateo caused a small landslide inside the tunnel. His left leg was crushed. He spent 3 weeks unable to walk, but he didn't stop. Every scrape of the spoon echoed through his bones like fire. But he continued, always forward. In year 4, he came closest to death. One night, the tunnel caved in behind him. He was trapped, buried alive underground. No air, no sound, only darkness. He clawed forward with everything he had. Blood filled his nails. His hands tore open. But after 37 minutes, the tunnel gave way. Mateo crawled out, shaking, covered in soil. He knew then he had gone too far to stop. Year 5 Mateo's tunnel stretched 78 meters. It reached beyond the wall, beyond the yard, beyond the field. He could smell aerial air. Grass. He knew the end was near. He prepared his final plan. Wait for the storm. The night the prison floodlights went out, and that night came. A violent storm rolled in. Thunder shook the ground. The lights flickered, then died. Mateo slipped into the tunnel for the last time. He crawled, and crawled, and crawled. 10 Esa, it a faint glow of moonlight at the far end. He pushed through the final wall of soil, and stood in an open field. After 5 years of digging, he walked free. Mateo was never seen again. Some say he crossed the border. Others say he lived quietly under a different name. But one thing is certain. His escape became legend among prisoners, a story of patience, pain, and the human will to survive. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe for more.